Today I'm joined by Nadia and Tao, and I love you guys. You were so great having on the show. I think you made all the difference. And I think the viewers would kind of like to know a little bit more about that and obviously your feelings on the show. So welcome.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Simon.
Mr. Colbert.
This is so exciting.
Yeah, Nadia, I think if you don't mind, I'll start with you.
Sure.
You were both obviously new to the show, but you joined, and you're in an interesting position because not only were you the judge, but you were also a sponsor. So I think before we just get into your role as a judge, I really want to understand, INCITA have been sponsoring this since the beginning. So why is that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Simon, firstly, for INCITA, one of our mandated functions is career guidance and, promoting the insurance sector and creating, I guess, excitement about people working in the sector. So I mean, when Renee came to us back then with this idea, firstly, we thought she was completely nuts. But luckily, there were a number of crazies around the table, and we thought, this is actually a really good way to partner in a really innovative showcasing of the talent and the professionals in the sector. So for us, it was a no-brainer.
So I wasn't at that event this year, but you were obviously there. I mean, what was your take on that? Do you think the kids got something out of it?
Yeah, so I mean, firstly, it's always a little bit of an uneasy marriage because we, when it comes to career guidance, it's generally, the younger crew that is engaged. And so I can imagine that some of the contestants really do struggle with it because this is not stuff from their normal working lives. But like I said, it is important that we showcase the sector, and so that's been, how we've taken it forward. I think this year the contestants really did an incredible job. They really thought out of the box and they did things a little bit differently. But where we found, as a sponsor, where we found real value in this episode was that we actually had the apprentices engaging with the teachers and engaging with the life orientation teachers and the career guidance teachers in the schools, so that there would be a sustainable sort of body of knowledge in the school.
Tao, I mean, this was, we met just before not for the first time, but we got together and we had a chat just before the season started. Yeah. And that was when Rionette and I spoke to you about coming on as the host. And everyone that I've spoken to, Nadia, I'm sure you've heard the same thing, said that it just made such a big difference, having you there and having someone who could kind of, maybe pull a little bit extra out of the show and contextualize it. And it looked like you enjoyed it. I mean, do you want to just talk about that experience?
That was an experience and a half, if I must say. It's one experience I thought I would never have, being a host of an amazing program like the Insurance Apprentice. Eye-opening in terms of what goes on behind the scenes of putting such a program together. Eye-opening in terms of the caliber of the judges and the deliberations and the arguments that go on when points have to be scored. And I think more importantly, the exposure I had to, the hyper competition that was there between the contestants was absolutely amazing. You had 9 absolutely highly talented stars who came together and wanted to win at all costs.
Nadia, I got this kind of branding as Judge Dredd. I don't know which season it was in, but it sort of stuck with me. And in fact, it's I must share this. It was one of those, I didn't set out to be that character, but once I got the name, I thought, well, I might as well live up to it, So,
yeah, let's show them.
So you got your own branding. What did they call you?
Judge Judy. Look,
Judge Judy.
You know what? To be compared to a wizened little white lady, not happy at all. And certainly if JP was in the, was it JP that said it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know who said it, but I heard it later, and I thought I actually had a good laugh at it. So it's Judge Dredd and Judge Judy.
Yeah, no, look, not impressed. One, but funny enough, at the in-seater sponsored episode, you know, I hadn't met Tao actually before. I hadn't met anybody. I was sort of, you know, I showed up there. I knew Rionette. Rionette tells me, oh, you know, Simon's not showing up today, so I'm sweating bullets. And then Ryan shows up, and he's like, and I don't know Ryan, so I don't know who you are. You clearly not important, because, you know, if Rionette hasn't sort of shown me who you are, then I don't need to talk to you. But he shows up, and he's got this list of, you know, these are the sorts of things, if you want, this could be your sort of, you know, good cop character, because clearly we've already got Judge Dredd, so, you know, this could be your
He wanted you to play the good cop.
Yeah. So I was like, I looked at him and was like, you know, I don't think I can do this. I'm going to have to literally read the nice things of a script. So at that point, he said, you know what, just be yourself, you know, do whatever comes.
Okay, so, okay, well, let's chat about that, because I go out of my way after the show to contact all the contestants and to really explain to them that I'm not actually like this. And it's one of the reasons why I agreed to do these interviews after the season, so that I could show everyone that I'm not this asshole, you know. And so that was,
anybody bought?
No one's bought it at all. So I was hoping, but it didn't happen. So that was my thing. I was like, I spent my whole career like trying to create this character where I'm this approachable guy, and then I have this awful thing hanging over me because of The Apprentice. But you is what you saying? Are you saying that you are actually like mean and nasty to people?
Full on all the time. Love it, am it, live
Oh, you
it,
weren't even acting.
You know, locked up. No, none of it. You know,
I don't believe
funny
it.
enough. No, so I mean,
Also
this is the thing.
No.
Stop. Well, I think I think the thing is really, I'm actually quite an introvert, and I'm not generally, you know, engaging with too many people unless it's in my space.
For me, one of the funny things was, and unfortunately you can't show all the footage because there's just so much, you know, but when we decided to do the Aeon task this past year as a debate, which we had never done before. And we don't really get the opportunity to rehearse these things. I don't know if people realize that it's completely live. You might get a trial run, you know, to introduce yourself and the team and whatever. But there suddenly you're in this theater on the stage. What was going on for you right now, well, at that moment?
Gee, chaos in my mind, I must tell you. Chaos.
And it was the first one with an audience, Tao. You suddenly had all these strange faces.
Yeah, absolutely right, Nadia. We had an audience, and someone is right. You can't rehearse this in front of an audience. And then the setup was that the one team will sit to my left, the other to my right. And then at the last moment, these teams just decided to swap around. And I had memorized left team and right team.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and that was just a mess. And then obviously the Aeon task or the debate task was such that one team A will open and have 3 minutes, and then team B will open and will respond in 3 minutes. And then they had a minute each contestant and a rebuttal each contestant. And somehow along the way, I forgot that the other team needed to rebut. And I remember one of them just looked at me and said, "Excuse me." And one of the judges, Simon, said to me, "You messed it up, buddy. You gotta go let them rebut."
You're fired.
I had to let them rebut. Simon, I must just add one important thing about the judges. And before I forget, you spoke about you and Nadia being good judge, bad judge. I must say this year, I found some of the judges to be really, really horrible.
The guest judges you're talking about.
The one in particular, but I must say, the one in particular judge, the Aeon task, I forgot his name again now. Sorry,
Terrence.
Terrence. He let rip of the contestants, and he told them in no uncertain terms that he's not impressed at all. And I remember one of his comments was that you guys went and rehashed everything that we know in the industry. You messed up. And I'm thinking, Jesus, that is harsh. Yeah. So the judging in that task was, geez, it was harsh. It was harsh. And remember,
there were a few like that though. He wasn't the only one. I mean, there were others later in the week. Yeah.
I mean,
we had some fantastic judges with
Potter.
us.
Yeah, Chris Potter as well, one of the judges from Emerald. Ooh, geez, he came hard.
Chris actually, at one point he goes like, "Just stop talking." I was like,
Get out of my sight.
whoa. I was like, I actually wanted to jump up and defend this poor contestant. That's how bad it was. Just stop talking. He goes, so.
Yeah. I thought you might hire one of us, Simon.
Yeah, I was expecting that actually. What was Nadia, your favorite task? And you can't say the in-seater one because you're biased, but out of all the others.
Now that one's off the table. Look, my favorite was by far Sazria, but that's just because I'm a bleeding heart and I want, it blew my mind. It was relevant, social impact. I loved the Sazria task and because it would have impact and I think it's something that will be real in the real world. But
they said they were going to use it,
Yes. So I mean, that was just that for me. It might not have been the most exciting, dramatic task, but it hit home. It is why I'm certainly in the industry, to touch, to have impact. But an honorable mention must go to the innovation group task with the cars. Was it innovation?
Imaginary car.
I mean, really, that one will forever be very high on my.
Yeah, it was a good task. It's just such a pity they blew it. It was like those guys in their fake cars.
And I must say, Nadia, that was the one task that the contestant really experienced Judge Dredd. He was like, would you flip and do that to your board of directors, drive an imaginary car in a flipping boardroom? The task was, you guys were horrible, and your acting was terrible. I don't know who told you guys.
You didn't have the tools.
Horrendous.
I didn't sleep very well that night. I thought it was a bit rough, but they got a taste of what was to come in the rest of the week, I think.
Yeah.
They did indeed. Now, look, I actually thought, just maybe to circle back to the toughness of the judges and thinking about how we treated them in some of these tasks. I think the one thing that I really, and sorry, Simon, now I'm completely off script, but the one thing that I really, really stood out for me is that each of these contestants, they could actually handle it. We squeezed and we pushed, and I think unnecessarily so. As much as I might be the hard guy, I don't expect the sort of things I expected from them on those days. I mean, all of these guys are under 35. They've not necessarily been in boardrooms with the board of directors, and so they're working off instinct. And I just thought, as much as I think the judges wanted to keep it at a specific level, I thought that each of those contestants really, I admired how they came back for more every single week, as it were, or day.
Yeah, they didn't just come back, they sort of came back stronger, like they were just gonna deal with this, they were gonna handle it. Tao, what was your favorite task?
Yeah. Before I tell you about my favorite task, I just want to add to what Nadia is saying about the contestant not having been in the boardroom. And I think it just shows the value of the insurance apprentice, that, it's about having an impact in the industry. and exposing the contestants to the real insurance industry and to the business world. And I think for me, what was important, what I took away was that how the insurance apprentice improves their professional lives and their personal lives. You know, you talk about the Sazera social impact, having to dig down that deep and become so socially conscious.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then the innovation group task, having to up your level as a under 35 and step into a boardroom, so to say, shows how the insurance apprentice really improved the quality of the contestants' lives. So my favorite task, Simon, was the marsh task. And for
I was hoping someone was going to mention that. That was good, yeah.
Had to happen.
And purely for a couple of reasons. I'll mention one or two. One was the double drama that was involved in that task. I mean, the contestants were given 2 hours to prepare for the task. And while they were preparing, all of a sudden, the marsh judges came in and said, listen, things have changed. You only have 25 minutes to prepare for for this task. There's an explosion in Durban, so we have a situation on our hands. We need to prepare. So the double drama in that task, I loved it, and not only because it made for good TV, but also because it really showed that this is what happens in the real insurance business. So I liked it also because we are now experiencing COVID-19. So this is what the insurance industry did not prepare for. So the March task, they were asked to prepare something else, and the script was flipped. The script then flipped in the last 25 minutes. The insurance industry have had a strategy and a plan for their business for this year. And here comes COVID-19, flipping the script completely. So that's why I love it so much. It's so relevant to the world that we live in right now.
Guys, once again, I really wanted to thank you for your contributions and for working with me on the show. You really made the world of difference. It was fantastic. So thank you. I hope to catch up with you in person really soon.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
I'm really pleased to be back with Christelle Coleman from Elite Risk Acceptances again today. Last week we didn't have a competition. We decided to extend it for an extra week and of course double up on that prize money. So the prize this week is actually 4,000 Rand instead of 2,000. So welcome, Christelle.
Thank you.
Do you want to kind of tell us about this week's winner?
Yeah, so this week has been something else because we decided to extend the period over which we made our decision. The engagement has been incredible. I mean, we have seen thousands of people engaging on the social media posts across the various different channels.
Christelle, before you carry on, I was just looking at my phone there because I wanted to just double check what the engagement actually was for this. And there was 2,365, which there were over 1,200 comments for this week. So people really got interested and excited in it. So yeah, well done, Elite, and thanks for drawing the attention back to the Insurance Apprentice.
I would love to hear from Rianette. I'm sure it's a record. I mean, that's amazing.
Sure.
So to be very honest with you, it's after hours in this house, and I'm one of the lucky ones to still have some wine left. So I'm going to toast. I'm going to
Cheers.
toast. So
I have water.
Yeah, water. So
where did you get that wine, Christelle? I hope it wasn't illegally.
No. I planned well, so.
Okay, I can vouch for that. All right, Christelle, that's great. So tell us who this week's winner is.
Yeah, so out of all these thousands of people getting involved and promoting our amazing and wonderful show, the winner this week is Basetsana and Kwane.
Ah, great. Well done, Basetsana. I've noticed that she kept the momentum going through the first week and through this extension. So
Yes.
Definitely a deserving winner. Well done. 4,000 Rand coming your way, Basetsana. So Christelle, what are we going to do we're going to do this again. So 4,000 Rand again in 2 weeks time. What do the viewers have to do for this competition?
So at the moment, there's an episode running. It's a behind the scenes episode where you interview Rianette and Ryan, who is the producer of the show. And
the guy from Flash Forward, yeah.
Yes. Can we be honest with the audience and tell them that before you always had to like force me to watch the episodes, and you would go, have you watched it? And I would go, yes, I'm going to watch it tonight. This season, when the episode was out, I was already on it. I really, really enjoyed the season, and I think Ryan's playing a big part of in a big role in that success. So congrats to the team for getting him on board. And I think the interview that you did with Rianette and Ryan is very, very insightful. So there are a few interesting questions raised during this interview, which we would like the social media influencers to answer. So we're going to post those questions on the different social media platforms, and we want you to actually watch the show and come up with the answers and comment on it and give us, this is the important thing. It's not just about answering the question. You have to be creative. You have to get involved, and you have to deepen the connection around the social media platform. So show us what you've got, and then the winner will be announced in 2 weeks' time.
Fantastic. 4,000 Rand could be yours. So make sure you tune in, watch that episode with Rianette and Ryan from Flash Forward. And yeah, you could be getting yourself a nice little bonus while you're sitting at home in lockdown. Thanks again, Christelle. I'll catch up with you in a couple of weeks. It's weird saying that, but yeah, a couple of weeks. Or I'll see you at dinner. Thanks, Christelle.